So first of all, I'm not dead. But do you know what is dead? Mr. Guppy. He died when I was a very young boy. Still haunts me, really. Many people's wallets. That's the answer. Because for the past 2 years, Team Fortress 2 has had nothing but dedicated crate updates and very interesting but seasonally limited Halloween maps. So I got myself to thinking just exactly how much money is Valve making off of unboxing for Team Fortress. And that got me thinking, how much money have they made total? And that got me thinking about how a turtle would wear a tuxedo. And would it be called a tortito or a tuxtle? So I had to backtrack a little bit on that last thought, and I had to answer the hard-hitting question for me. And the answer, roughly, is 2,086,890,000 Skittles. And I didn't want to tell you the real number just yet because, I'm a jerk. Okay, so it's roughly about $62 million worth, but that is not the important number. Instead, you should be asking yourself a more important question, and that is, how did TheCosmicAfro come up with that number? Well, I'm about to elucidate that for you right now. And the first thing that you need to know is I had to come up with the very challenging task of seeing how many crates, an estimate of how many crates have been opened. Originally, I thought about going into backpack.tf and making a tally of every item that could come from a crate. But I quickly realized that that would be inaccurate because certain items were commonly crafted and no longer were in the game. The thing that you have to understand is that backpack.tf only tracks existing items. You can see how many of an item came from a crate, but you'll notice that the number never exceeds the amount in existence, so that doesn't actually work for us. Not to mention, some items that come from crates can be transformed into killstreaks, strange, collectors, etc. It just wasn't a good idea. So I realized I would have to use the item least likely to ever be deleted or removed, and that, my friends, was the unusual. I wanted to avoid exaggerated numbers and assume that players are lucky, so I actually bumped it up to 1.25 or 1 in 80 crates. This way, we understand that the number is being lowballed and that it's presumably higher, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. An additional thing that I theorized is that some crates statistically have lower chances than 1%. My ideal example of this is cosmetic cases. While crates roll for an unusual first, then give you an item, I believe that cases roll for the item and then to see if it's strange or unusual or both. So for cosmetics that could be unusual in those, I bumped it up to 1 in 90 cases to account for items in crates that cannot be unusual but will have a forced roll anyways. So after all of that nonsense, I then went on to Backpack and I went through every single goddamn hat that could be unusual, and I put that number into an Excel sheet and I did some gosh darn mathematical tallying. As a quick editor's note here, I will be showing the numbers back at the original 1% as another frame of reference. Whew! Right? That seems like a whole lot of work for just a small little number of 62 million. But the thing that you need to understand is that, again, $62 million is only the starting number. We have to remember that there's a lot of key elements that I am not able to accurately track that we need to keep in mind. 62 is just the bottom line. An example of this is key sales off of the Steam community market. Valve takes 10% from every sale from TF2 items, and yes, that 10% is very important because 10% is not the same for every single game in the Steam community market. I encourage you to read the FAQ in the description below from Steam themselves. I did a rough estimate by going into the Steam community market and tracking down as many hours as I possibly could within the entirety of a month. And then I put all those averages together to kind of give a rough estimate of what we might be looking at. Those numbers are roughly 353 keys per hour at roughly $2.42 per sale, which gives Valve roughly about 24 cents per sale. So Valve could reasonably expect to sell 8,500 keys a day, which is roughly 250,000 keys a month, and at 24 cents a sale. At 24 cents a sale with that kind of numbers, that is roughly $61,000 in passive income off of existing keys per month. If we wrongly assume, but just for the sake of putting an example out there, that this is the standard for all months ever since December of 2012, when Valve opened up the Steam community market with Team Fortress 2 at its beta, then you can actually expect that Valve, just from passively selling keys on the Steam community market, has made another $5.9 million. And they didn't even do anything to make that happen. Outside of opening the market, of course. But let's also remember that there is a surplus of keys that exist in the Steam community market that are solely used for trading or just sitting in people's inventories. According to backpack.tf, there is roughly 1,175,000 keys still available, which means that there is another almost $3 million worth of keys just sitting in inventories, not really doing anything. And ladies and gentlemen, that is just the tipping point. Because while yes, there are crates, and there are cases, and there are keys, that is not all that has come out from Steam Unboxing. Allow me to consult my list once again. The comprehensive list of things that we must also track down are tools and name tags, festivizers, festive weapons, paints, dueling minigames, strangifiers, taunts. These items can also be gotten from crates, and while yes, in cases they have been able to be given as surplus items, there was a time when those items would be given just as the reward for opening up a crate as well. So that means there are some that would have been worth an entire key, while some have only been given out as surplus. These are not things that I can reasonably track though. There's something very important that I have not yet mentioned, something that also adds another couple $1 million into the mix, and that is war paints. And, well, painted weapons as well. For, you see, backpack.tf kind of gave up on trying to track war paints, so I can't reasonably track those kind of numbers. The reason being is that there's just too many IDs that exist. For example, let's just throw a random war paint onto the screen here. With that war paint, you're going to see 5 IDs right out the gate, because there's going to be factory new, there's going to be minimal wear, there's going to be field tested, there's going to be well worn, and then there's going to be battle scarred. And then, for each of those IDs, like factory new, you have to create 40 some odd new IDs, because it can be applied to 40 some odd weapons. And then, you're going to have to double to triple that, considering that they can be strange, unusual, or strange unusual, and then you're going to have to triple that, because then they can be kill streak, specialized kill streak, professional kill streak, and then you're going to have to add yet another double to that, because then you can also add a festivizer to that to make it a festive, strange, unusual, factory, new, war paint, whatever. There's so many different IDs that it's hard for backpack.tf to track all of it, and praise the people who would even try to undergo something like that, because it would just be too much information. At the end of it all, from numbers I could track, it's at $62 million. But that is the low line. That's the baseline. There is no conceivable way that they haven't made anything less than $62 million. Hi, this is CosmicAfro here with a quick editor's note that I said that I would show. I don't have a lot of time to edit, so this one is going to be really rough. This is the number 80. You can see here in the top left with the formula here, that's the percentage of crates. I'm going to bump that up to 100. And you see that it jumped from 50 to 62 million. And our total cost jumped up to 72 million. Even just a small percentage change, as going from 1% to 1.25%, is an extremely generous thing to do, which is why I say that it is impossible that they have made anything less than $62 million. And why that is important to me and why it should be important to you, is that $62 million is an incredibly high number for a freemium economy. There are games that wish they could bring in that kind of money, especially over a course of 10 years. It's absolutely ridiculous. And that is being at the low ballpark number. That is not what the true average represents. In the video, I wanted to say at some point how much money I believed Team Fortress 2 has brought into the economy, or rather into Valve, I should say. And the thing is, like, yeah, you can go look that up on Google. You can go just search up, like, how much money has Valve made from unboxing and stuff, and Valve doesn't disclose their numbers. So if you want to go find something like this, you have to go and look for it on your own time. That's the only way that you're going to ever find, like, realistic number representations. And also, they say, like, it's across 3 different games of how much money they brought in between, but they don't actually say, like, which game brought in the most money in between them. As I went through more of the items and I realized just exactly how much stuff exists, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna run up to backpack.tf real quick, right? And let's look up together. Let's look up festive bone saw right now. Let's just go ahead and take a look at the festive bone saw, right? We'll go to Festive Bonesaw. We'll take a look. There are 47,000 Festive Bonesaws, and there are 7,000 Stranges of these. All of these came in from a crate. 53,000! This one item individually, that is $100,000 at least, at the bare minimum, worth of keys just brought in. That's one weapon. I can't even remember some of the other festive weapons here. Let's go to festive rocket launcher, because that was another one. Festive rocket launcher. You know, how many of these exist when it comes into that? All of these come from crates, except for one support granted in some Steam purchases. You got 14,000 from this one, 3,000 Stranges. I guess the percentage of that dropping was a lot less. Let's take a look at Festive Islander. Why not? Let's take a look about that. How many of this does that exist? 44,000! And then 8,000 Strangers, and 34 Collectors! You know, that's actually pretty easy to put into that. 52,000 of these were found in crates. And what's worse is that these, I believe, are different. If I typed in kill streak... Oh, no, it doesn't show that. Well, in any case, that makes me look like a fool. But I won't be able to track if there's a kill streak in these. And if these are included in the kill streak, then I would be incorrect on that, and I would be stupid. But just 52,000 crates. $100,000 was brought in just from that one weapon. If I went through all of the festive weapons here, I'll go quickly. I'm gonna go quickly to the TF2 wiki. All right, I'm cutting to this now. I found the first crate, the Naughty Winter crate. There were 10. There were 10 of these. You know, and I can't even imagine in total if each weapon. And we know that the rocket launcher, since, which is strange, I guess a lot of those must be crafted into kill streaks and stuff, because it doesn't make any sense to me that others would be not. But, given that it's at an almost 11% chance to be unboxed, why is the festive bat only at, 5%? That's very strange. I actually don't understand that. But it's freaking ridiculous. If you imagine that there's 10... weapons, all at 50,000. We'll just say 10, 50,000. That's 500,000 for that one update. 500,000 times 2.5. Hey, guess what you're getting? That's already over $1 million worth of keys spent into these festive weapons for one update. And that's not even talking about how many times these particular weapons have been traded over the Steam community market. Let's go. I'm going to bring that up real quick. Let's go to the market. I'm going to type in, yeah. Look at how many times this stuff is still being sold. You know, it only says 1 or 2 sales per day. That is honestly pretty low. But considering how long these items have been out, this item was, God, when was this item released? This was in, December 9th, 2011. Even if one item is only being sold per day, which it's not because it's not as popular as it used to be, given that you get Festivizer weapons. But, like, imagine at its base, you know, even if only one was sold every single day for 365 days for 9 years, that is still profit that Valve didn't even have to do. And that they're equal to a key, so that's like another 25 cents to them. That's another just influx. It's ridiculous. It's solely ridiculous. My question for all of this is, like, they make so much money off of this stuff. What are we funding anymore? What are we funding? I don't know. It makes me so upset. I hate it so much. It's stupid. It's just actually stupid. I don't get it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed this video, thank you so much. I know it seems kind of like a guessing game, but it mostly is a guessing game. But I'm not going to throw out numbers that I don't understand, and it would be irresponsible to throw things out that I don't understand. That is why I said my estimation of 500 million at the very least is an estimation, just a guess, a theory. Sorry. Anytime I say theory, I just get flashbacks.